A very warm welcome to the Metaphor Lucknow Lit Fest, sir.
Thank you.
It is a privilege and an honor to be hosting you as our title sponsor, not just for this year, but for the next 3 years.
No, thanks. And it's a privilege for us to sponsor this wonderful event.
I hope that our engagement turns out to be fruitful and it goes on for much longer than just 3 years.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like since yesterday, it's quite enlightening for us, and we only see this growing.
And sir, could you tell me a bit about how Adrosonic came around and what was the thought process behind it, and a bit about the journey that you've taken along the way and the things that you've learned through the journey?
So about myself, like my association with Lucknow starts from my engineering days. So I did my engineering from here, from the AKTU, and after that I worked for a year in this city, and then went to do my post graduation in business administration, and spent around half a decade with Tata Consultancy Services, and then with an insurance broking firm, Jardine Lloyd Thompson, which has now been acquired by Marsh, so it's known as Marsh. Yeah. And so I have seen kind of both the side of the business, like being the supplier side or the partner side, and the client side of it as well. And in 2013, we founded Adrosonic, primarily with an objective to initially to provide value-added consulting services, where my vision was that IT is an enabler. IT should be seen as an enabler because businesses are running, and it should not be seen like how IT can help the business. That was the core objective. So for us, IT comes like at a later stage. The first stage is that what problem we are trying to solve, and then what tools and technologies can come in, and how it can solve. So normally, if you see traditionally, India is known for the way IT industry has evolved. Mm-hmm. It has evolved really bottom up. Like we started getting, when the economy got open in 91, we started getting some BPOs were set up and KPOs were set up, and quite low hanging fruit or execution kind of things were coming to India. And then gradually we learned and we moved up the value chain. But still the consulting element is not, we are not known, very well known, although we are saying that we are the IT leaders. Yes, we are, but not on the consulting side of it. So the consulting happens, abroad, or there are big fours and a lot of consulting firms that they do. And when they do the consulting, when the blueprint is ready, the execution comes here. And in that execution as well, the planning and all the things are being done. And my objective was that where I see the gap was there are a lot of small and medium enterprises globally, which are quite vital for the global economy, not for only for the Indian economy. And these enterprises are really struggling for having that level of quality consulting services, because they can't afford to hire big fours. So they are quite reliant on one and two bunch of individuals whom they are hiring, or if they go to market, there is always the price is a challenge. And if they go to companies who are good into execution, then you don't have that planning. So we spotted that gap and we founded Adrosonic. We went to the market with the concept that we will work together, we will work as a partner in your team. So we never follow a client-vendor relationship. Our objective is that what is the problem and how we can solve. Your problem is our problem, and how we can solve it together. And with that concept, we have seen a phenomenal growth organically in last 11 years, from being a 2-member organization to now approaching 250 subsidiaries in UK, US and Latin America. And again, my association with Lucknow, I came back here. So our headquarters is in Mumbai, but 2 years back we started our delivery center here in Lucknow, which is growing and now approaching around 100, and our plan is to grow it further. So that's the overall journey, which we are very excited, and we really see that these value that we are providing to the customers has led to 100% client retention, which we are very, very proud of. And we wish to we wish to continue with that same element, and from that, when 2-3 years back, when we were looking at that why Adrosonic is so, we are achieving this success without any debt and without any external investment, like primarily following a traditional way of growing the business. And when we looked at it, we coined we coined a word called we care. So the we care is the essence, because we care for our customers, we care for our customers, we care for our employees, our partners, and everyone who work with us in the ecosystem. I think that's the essence, and with that essence in mind, we celebrated 1 decade of success. And for the next decade, then we have come up with the new mantra, which is that the care at the core, because everything around will change as we grow. As we go to 250, 500, the business will grow from 10 million to 20 to 50. Things might change, way of operation might change, but the care will remain. So the care at the core and innovation in mind. That's the new mantra using which Adrosonic is now growing and helping our customers to achieve success.
That's very important, right? The authenticity of your interaction with your clients, as you say. It's not that you're trying to make a quick buck out of them. You
No,
really want
never.
them to grow.
I always say, and this is like we will keep being successful till we say that, or till it is in our DNA that a client's problem is our problem. And if you're solving a problem, they will give you more business. So revenue will automatically follow. The day Adrosonic loses this essence, there will be a fall. That's sure. The day we start thinking that how we can make more revenue, more money, the focus will shift, and that's where I, as a founder of the business, will always be very protective about that. We are always thinking about our clients first, and the revenue should just follow.
That is so good to hear, sir. Especially because India sometimes is put down as some place where a lot of the grunt work happens. A lot of the jobs which are easy to do, which are administrative, are put through. But to see that a company that is coming up with original solutions to problems.
Yeah, this is quite irony, because if you see that the same Indian, when they go abroad, they can do consulting. But the moment it looks at that I am giving work back to India, the first thing comes to the mind is that let's do it because it's cheap.
Ji.
And I personally hate this word, it's cheap. I find that, at least for Adrosonic, because that is in my control, in my influence, circle of influence, at least people should work with us because we are adding value, not because we are cheap. Yes, the value means that, the cost we need to, the arbitrage needs to be there, but you should know us, or our client should work with us because we are adding value. That's the core essence of the business.
And sir, how do you think consulting has evolved from when you started the company to now? Do you think the IT solutions themselves have changed with AI coming in and so many rapid technological advancements? Do you think it has changed the essence of the company
the essence,
or of the sector?
Very, very good. This is quite close. This question is quite close to my heart. So if you remember, like when I say IT as an enabler, IT is a very evolving. It's. I think no other industry is evolving at such a pace. Especially in last 5-7 years, the way IT is evolving. Every day, every minute there is a change. Even when we are talking about AI, now the quantum computing is, when it will be fully, available, it is going to bring another change to the industry. And it is really, but then the essence is that why we are doing so much in IT. Ultimate objective is that how the business and how the society can be get the benefit. Our clients, some of our clients are 160-year-old or 200-year-old, insurance brokers or underwriting companies. They know how to do their business. If they are running the business since last 202 years or 170 years, they know how to do the business. And at that time, there was no such view of what IT is, right? So what IT is bringing the change is that now how you can use this tool to be more competitive in the market and to serve your customers, that is our customers, in an efficient way. So our job as an IT consulting provider is to help our customer to understand that what change or how the landscape is changing, or any new tool, like for example, now AI is coming, how AI can help you. It's not, doesn't matter if I write a very complicated piece of code and I'm very proud of, and I have done so much of research. What's the point if that piece of code or if that technology is not helping to the business or to the wider society in a way? So if it is adding value, if it is helping a business, if it is helping, if it is changing life, if it is touching life, then there is a sense. Otherwise, it's just a nice piece of code, and it's an individual, pride, which is not does not make any sense for a longer term. So with all these changes, the core essence is that you always look at how this technology can help a business, and how we can make you more efficient, and then map that to the business process. And that's where the consulting comes in. Once you understand the business, then only you can say this piece of code. Otherwise, I know how to implement AI, but what are the use cases? Use cases you will only understand when you will understand the business. So
back engineer it.
Yeah, and then that's where when I speak to youngsters at the college, when they get so excited about technology, and I am a data scientist, or I want to be an AI specialist, I always say to them that you first find it out. You being a data scientist, what are you going to do? What is the role of a data scientist? And what is the journey? You cannot become a data scientist straight away without ignoring the fact of the basic concept of data, or what are the use cases where how you can apply those algorithms to ultimately give some meaningful result to the business. So as far as the we understand that IT is for business, business is not for IT. So that's the essence where.
That's very well put, sir. So well put. Yeah. So, sir, I want to know, as you grew the business, did it ever feel like how is this just coming at me? And as you're saying, 10 years has just grown. So how do you deal with that growth in expectation year by year, and watching it grow, it's like a baby, right?
Yeah. So one is the passion, because this is what I know and this is what I love doing. And I think passion to solve problem, and the enjoy, because once you start enjoying, you don't feel like you are tired, or extensive traveling, or even getting 3-4 hours sleep, but because you are passionate about it. And second, I'm not in the this is what I want to do for the whole of my life, so I am not in a rush. I am not in a rush to make Adrosonic a $1 billion organization. It may happen in my life or it may not, doesn't matter, but I get a good sleep at the night because I am solving a problem. I don't look at that. I want to grow, I am ambitious, but at the same time I have patience, and I want to grow in a right way with a very strong and solid foundation. One example I will say that the amount of growth it took for Adrosonic in 9.5 years, we have achieved almost 2 times growth in last 1.5 years. So now, has I thought about it? Was that part of my aspiration? The answer is no. I wanted to grow and I wanted to keep doing, but it happened. Now, whether I will grow at the same pace, I don't know. But one thing is very clear, that I will work at the same pace, and I will work with the same passion, same commitment, and I will try my best to do the right thing, to have a right team in place, and to have right essence, right culture, because culture, as you grow, the culture is quite important.
Yes, sir.
So my job is now to make sure that my team is right, my leadership team is there, and we are following that culture. And then we are just doing our work, and then the result is not in our hands, so we don't know where we will land. But as far as everyone is happy, if we are enjoying, that's the life, because we don't know what happened next moment, right? So there's no point of being so ambitious that no, I want in 5 years I want to make it triple or 4 times. And even if that happens, what will be the next thing? You will always keep on going for the next milestone. So that satisfaction will never come. So it's better whatever is there, you enjoy, but keep that aspiration. There's a thin line which is very important, that you should. I'm not saying that you should not have that aspiration. I have, but at the same time, I can only do things which are in my control and do it in a right way.
Yes, sir. I think it's all about enjoying the process.
Yes,
If you are,
it's all about the process. Very rightly said. It's all about the process. At the end, what result comes, that's not in your hand. In your hand, if the process is right, the result will be right. And if the result is not right, then you can learn from it. So there is no such. We have also seen a lot of failures as well. And there were a lot of time when we were struggling, but every struggle had made us more stronger because we have learned from that. So
and so looking back at Metaphor Lit Fest now, is there any moment that strikes out to you that you will look back and cherish for the months to come, years to come?
many moments, I will say. In fact, every session had a lot of things, to positive things to take away. I would like to first share that when we first got this proposal to sponsor, the first thing naturally comes that okay, why Adrosonic will go and sponsor a art and literature festival. And I had written a small article as well on this, which I shared on LinkedIn. There are many reasons why it was a very like I didn't give even a second thought, and I presented and I to my board, and I convinced my CFO, I convinced my other board members that we should be doing it. And there are multiple reason behind it, and I'm so I will say that when you see that decision right, you get very very pleased. One is that we are into the tech field, and the digital detox is quite important because at the end we are humans. And anything we are doing, the human element should not be missed. And these days, especially with social media platform, with so many content floating around, with mobile phone always in your hand, and for our industry you are always on the screen. uh, COVID has made it more worse because now there are a lot of always on the Teams calls, and people are have enduring COVID because you got addicted to these things. So it was quite fresh to be here and to listen to creative writers and content creators and people from different fraternity, and learn from their experience. And at the end, whether you are running an IT business or you are writing a content, emotions are always the key driving factor. So last 2 days, I will say, one session we were attending about the Awadhi, language, and the discussion was quite where we were talking about the language and the essence of culture it brings, and a lot of rituals that happens, and what is the meaning behind those rituals. So it's like you get disconnected and you are into a
Headspace.
it connects to your root.
Ji.
And these things may not have a direct impact, like you will say okay, connect to your root, so how it's going to impact your business, but it brings a different, it is definitely having an indirect positive impact on your personality, on your persona. And then you go out as a different human being, and it results in your it creates a positive impact in your personal aspect. Or listening to the conversation with Guruji, the Pandit Hari Prasad Chaurasia ji, and his journey. Okay, he is from the music fraternity, and one thing which he said yesterday was that he went to a teacher, and one of gentlemen, he asked a very good question, that you went to a teacher who was not knowing how to play flute, and you wanted to learn flute, so why you chose that teacher? And the answer was so enlightening and relevant to our industry, and I will share how. So he said that he went there to learn music, and what instrument she was playing, he wanted to learn that so that he can play the same using the flute. Now and that was quite nowadays, if I see, compare it with my industry, people are so much like everywhere it's AI. So if you go to and ask any engineering graduate, they want to be an AI engineer, right? Few days back, if you go to any college, they want to be a data
Data
scientist,
scientist.
right? if you go 10
Further
years back,
IT.
IT or Java developer, So people are very much that I want this because if I do this, then I will get this. It's very much, you don't want to learn the overall aspect. Nobody is saying that I want to learn, the engineering concept, because that concept will remain with you. That you can become great only when, so the music is going to remain with him, right? So if you learn the concept, so that's what I was parallelly thinking, that what a such an essence of learning, that you are not very much short. This is called very short term thinking. When you look at that, just one thing, I will learn this because there is an immediate benefit, then everything will be short term. If you really want to play long term game, then you should think of that, learning the overall concepts around.
You can't
So that
go by
was
the demand in the market. It needs to be what's inside you.
exactly
That needs to come out.
exactly. And the session on the film with Imtiaz Ali was another, like I one of his movie which I had personally had impacted me a lot, was Tamasha. And it was so good to, because if I share with you, I was quite when you are running a business, you are at the front, and you always have to, you are a leader, people look at
Answerable to
you,
a lot of people.
and people look at you, and by even through your facial expression, they just try to evaluate whether everything is right or not. And there was a phase when we were quite things were not going well, and an entrepreneur goes through a lot, which the pain is that you can't show. The enjoyment is the independence, but the pain is that you are lonely. And we were going through a very rough phase. And then suddenly I was watching, just to disconnect, I was watching this movie Tamasha. And there was the character was into a conflict, right? He went to when he was on a vacation, he was a different person, and then when he come back in his own zone, he was very much like a robot, like a machine. And then he found a Baba, and he went to him and he started asking that what will happen next, this guy is facing this problem, so what will happen next? And the Baba was answering. And the moment that the cinema was going on, the same thing was, it was giving me very I was thinking that, may I, if I can get someone like this, I was very much involved into that. And I was thinking where I can find such person whom I can just go and say that this is happening with me, what will happen next? There's a lot of uncertainty. And the moment I was so deeply indulged, that suddenly there was a scene when he goes to the Baba and says that this is all, he narrates an incident and what is going to happen next. And the Baba starts saying something, haywire, something which he was not able to connect. He started screaming that you're not telling me, what rubbish you are speaking. And the Baba said that, he scolds him and he said that, अपनी कहानी मुझसे क्यों पूछ रहा है? Right? So that one dialogue of अपनी कहानी मुझसे क्यों पूछ रहा है struck me so that suddenly that, and I can't express that what I felt at that moment. कि अपनी कहानी, why are you asking your story? Why do you want to know what happened next? It's your story. You go and figure it out. So being there, and I forgot that, it was a 5-6 year, I think 7-8 year back. I think it got released it was in 2015, and we were just 2 years since we founded Adrosonic. So it was the early days of struggle. So it was completely not in my mind. But yesterday when I was sitting there, just to recap that whole incident, it is, so for me personally, it is very, very enlightening, every session. And I am taking a lot of things with me through this Lit Fest.
So we're so happy to be graced by your presence, and it is with a deep gratitude that we want to thank you for being a part of the team and for taking this forward for the years to come.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And one more thing before I conclude, when you asked me, I'm glad that you asked me to have a session. I remember that when first we met, you said that why don't we bring AI into it? And I was quite, at that moment, to be honest, I was surprised that how we will be able to relate. But I'm so glad you said that, because ultimately AI is impacting every aspect,
Everything.
even to the, especially there's a lot of fear and a lot of myths around that, how the creative world is looking at it. And my whole, we worked towards it, that how we bring it in a very non-technical way to the audience and give some clarity. And I got a lot of positive feedback from many those who attended that session. So I'm so glad that technology came here, and we bring that essence of tech. And so thanks to you for bringing that idea. I wanted to say this to you, but as we are interacting here, so I just thought to bring. And that's where it's a different perspective, right? That is one thing that AI will not say, because if you ask the AI what to do in LitFest, so AI will, because it will go to the what has happened traditionally, and it will give you the answer based on what has happened.
Generative.
Yes,
Yeah.
generative, based on the data that is there.
Yes.
But what you said is the experience, is a human can think. That's the difference I explained. Because you said that why don't you bring, that's a fresh perspective. So always human will have that fresh perspective. Now this will go to the data bank, and then but humans can always bring a fresh perspective. And to see youngsters like you coming up with these kind of initiatives, and doing this with so passion, it's again a learning for me as well. So
Thank
thanks
you
to
so
you.
much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.